again.
I've got to apologize to Mel for that deck.
I don't know, Stack. I would be down to do some commentary because then we could talk about what's in their hands. Here we just have to be quiet.
You can talk about what's in Matt's hand.
Yeah.
No, okay. It's not mine.
Dude, go to. You guys should go to Turning Desk. You should.
Yeah.
And record the commentary. I'd love to hear it, honestly.
All right. Are you down,
Yeah, I
Stack?
do enjoy this video.
I mean, I'll watch.
Oh,
I'll
great.
join you.
Okay. You got to say something because I also have dinner to eat, so I don't want to be the only one talking. But sure, I'm in. All right, I'm gonna go to turn.
I'm joining Tourneycast.
Okay, sweet. All right.
Hello.
I'm here with Stack watching the Live the Meme finals live on
Indeed.
Fox News, Fox Sports. I don't know. Not Fox.
We're halfway into this game, although we're really only 1% into this game because Matt does have his win con in play, but it takes him about 30 years to do it. So
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty I think. How do you think Taylor wins this? I mean, I think Taylor has to put pressure.
Taylor wins this. Yeah, he could do that, or just he's in green. He might draw something that kills
A bunch of
Alter of the Brood.
True. Yeah, I mean, Matt also.
I guess that's true. Alter of the Brood is not his only win con.
He has 4. I think that's the problem. No, this art. I have some alternate Fate Reforged art. Ugin's Fate, Alter the Brood. It's pretty sick. The altar on that is pretty sick. I mean,
I just see the MTGO one.
Oh, okay. He also has Triskaidekaphile in hand, which if he can draw 13 cards rather, which he was telling me is possible with Paradoxical Outcome. I mean, I think that and Mnemonic Wall is going to be a big problem for
I'm not
Taylor.
surprised by that being possible.
Looks like Taylor just plays good creatures and good stuff at a decent rate. He has his 4th land for the Witchstalker, which is really solid.
Yeah, I mean, Renegade Freighter and Witchstalker are nothing to.
Yeah, that's no
sneeze
joke.
at, but
I do think that Taylor has to kill Matt before Matt can draw enough cards. So the thing is, Matt has inevitability of, if Matt can draw enough cards, he will eventually win. I think, his alternate win con is Lab Maniac.
right.
So, he could try to deck himself and win that way. But, I don't know. The games I played against Taylor were, Taylor was kind of grindy and, Taylor also, put pressure in the mid-game, and then late game I just wasn't able to close. And he was able to just hold up and then eventually turn the tide and kill me. So I think here, though, he has to be slightly more aggressive. I mean, Matt isn't really presenting anything at the moment, so.
Well, and Matt's basically incapable of putting pressure on the board. He just has his plan.
We'll be
and
able
can,
to
block.
True. I was going to say, this Tezzeret, though, will be able to start, getting some value, though. Because it does make... I know it only kills things, I take it back. The ultimate of Tezzeret makes... you can make an artifact, 5/5 at the beginning of combat. So I guess he's waiting to get that online.
Yeah, I guess.
It's nice, though, that Taylor can now drop a threat and immediately crew the freighter. So that's pretty sweet.
Waiting for. Oh, I see. He ran out the freighter. Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go.
I think so, too. Alright, I think you just jam Witchstalker here. And get him at the freighter.
Exactly.
Yeah. Alright, well, Matt needs some, more card draw. He can't crew the plow. Yeah, I mean, yes, he has card draw. I mean, with the Triskaidekaphile, it's just he has some slow card draw he can use to his advantage. I I guess Matt's next play will be in response to whatever Taylor plays, like the Witch Stalker. He's just going to probably kill it with Tezzeret. Right? Because he'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. Yeah, that kills a Witch Stalker. So Matt has some good interaction here. But otherwise, Matt's is going to need to use the Floodhound and the Triskaidekaphile to like draw cards and get back to start getting more gas, rather.
Right.
Do you think Matt's deck is busted? Do you think this is like something we're going to need to ban a piece out of? And if so, what do you think would be that card?
Oh.
Do you think Outcome, or do you think it's going to be the Mnemonic Wall, or some combination of those two? I think those two...
I think the Mnemonic Wall is good. I think cutting the infinite combo is important.
I mean, on the other hand, I'm like, if there's enough instant speed removal, you just kill a wall, you know?
Yeah. But it's not always about that. Like, it's...
Yeah. I mean, I guess, so to me, the big thing about Storm is, like, the consistency in which it comes together. Because if it's not 100% consistent, then there's more of a risk to trying to draft it, which I think is what you see in, like, Legacy Cube, right? Or Vintage Cube, rather.
Right.
I think Matt here had the benefit of this being the first time, and it was clearly an archetype that appealed to him, and it was open at the table. Like, no one else was trying to draft Storm. Of either variety, really.
Right.
So,
I'm not sure people even knew that. Like, I don't know. I think the red one, I guess we did provide them with stuff, but I feel like the red one is a little more esoteric.
I think that one's a little more challenging, for sure. Yeah.
You have to, like, know, kind of... a little bit you have to know what cards you, like, actively want in the deck.
Yeah.
More than, like, you see Paradoxical Outcome, and the infinite number of O1s going around the table, like, you can figure it out.
Oh, that's true.
Not O1s, a 0-mana, you know what I'm saying.
I mean, look at this. Matt has Cathar's Shield out in play. Like, Mike Mocha must be proud.
Mike Mocha is somewhere. If he's not dead, he's somewhere. A tear on his face, and he doesn't know why.
I mean, the real win would be if Matt can animate the Cathar Shield and swing for the win. That would be like Oko, turning a Black Lotus into an Elk, kind of a victory, in my opinion. Alright, so we saw Matt drop the Tezzeret like expected. Alright, but Taylor has a Bog Beast. Tezzeret can still kill another thing. That's actually really good.
Can it?
Yeah, it's only a -2. And Matt has 4 artifacts in play. Bog Beast is only a 3/3. Alright. But it looks like if he wants to protect it, he's going to have to sacrifice the Floodhound or the Triskaidekaphile. So that at least gives Taylor a little bit of...
he can give up the Floodhound pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that's the less valuable one. Because it's still 4 mana to draw a card. Does make artifacts, though. Slight benefit there. Honestly, maybe the Floodhound's the better card. Because maybe the artifacts on board are more valuable than just 4 mana draw a card. Because Floodhound is also a 4 mana draw a card. I guess you could do it repeatedly with Triskaidekaphile.
Yeah.
It's probably better to keep Triskaidekaphile, but... it's also like an alternate win con if should you be able to Paradoxical Outcome a bunch of things to your hand. Oh, double block. Was that what we just saw there? Double block?
Yeah, I don't
know
know why.
Yeah, because it wasn't going to kill either. Okay. I mean, it wasn't going to... Neither of them were going to kill the freighter. So that's pretty weird. Okay, Roshin Meanderer was milled. Oh, I did not...
Yeah, I mean, how is Taylor doing on
Taylor's 18 cards in his
cards?
library. Yeah. Oh, they printed Harvester of Souls in old border. That's sick. I didn't know that Taylor was playing a shambling suit.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a 3-mana, star 3 that its power is equal to the number of artifacts and enchantments you control. I mean, he has some. I guess he probably makes a lot more than I'm thinking, but it doesn't seem that crazy to me. I don't know. Alright, here comes the Ochre Jolly. It's pretty good. Taylor's going to play it for 4, it looks like. Alright, so then it looks like Tezzeret's down for the count, and then Matt's kind of out of gas. I think Taylor might be turning the tide here.
Yeah.
Just got more pressure. I mean, let's see until, Matt draws like Paradoxical Outcome or something.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty...
Big question is, though, why did Matt pitch Triskaidekaphile and the Floodhound in front of the Freighter? I don't understand that.
Yeah. Did he forget that the Freighter was pumped?
Was it pumped? I mean, even so, it's
not. No, it pumps itself.
It's it's a 4/3 though as a base. Like he was only going to deal 2 damage to it between the two.
Oh, you know what? It has trample.
Oh, okay.
He needed to do it to save the Tezzeret.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Freighter is also just a good card. I guess, we put in vehicles because it's sort of a funny callback, with the dwarves.
Right.
But, some of the vehicles are just good. Like, limited all-star, truly.
I mean, yeah.
I'm actually kind of glad that we have some just, good cards. I think it's,
I think it kind of keeps things moving, if nothing else.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think when we played Shit Cube on Retreat, I think that was a ton of fun. But yeah, I don't know. I think there is it also makes it feel different than a Shit Cube or something where,
right.
I think it is more about taking underpowered cards and finding interesting synergies between them. And to do that effectively, I think you do need some pretty decent cards to. But Renegade Freighter, I think actually might just be decent all around. Same with Fierce Witchstalker. I mean, that's just a 4/4 with trample for 4 that makes a food. Just a good card. So Taylor's sort of just playing the good cards in some ways.
Yeah.
Oh,
it happened!
Oh, there's a secret layer art for that, actually.
Oh, we might need to get
or
that.
Or a promo. Oh, it's pretty hot. Honestly, it's pretty cool. We should probably get that. Put that in the cube. Damn. Okay, well, it got milled, so not this game. But I'm sure Matt feels a sigh of relief at that. So Matt is just playing lands at this point and slowly milling Taylor out. He is only at 10, though. If Matt could get this plow online, that might help gain a little life back. But he kind of needs to figure out something to do. Oh,
He needs something fast.
Yeah, Taylor's really putting the pain. Bringing the pain, rather.
Yeah, Mother Bear is really good.
Matt's at 1.
I saw that putting in work for Taylor a lot.
It looks like Taylor has this one. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Mother Bear is really good. Those bears are no joke.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird keep, though, from Matt. Like, well, I don't know that it was. I just, like,
He had some good pieces. I don't know.
Right, but in that deck, do you mull for Paradoxical?
I don't know.
Like, I think you might. I think you, like, it's so integral to the deck, and there's only one. I kind of think, like...
There are some other engine pieces. I mean, Matt doesn't have all of them. And Matt didn't take Rebuild. He didn't take, I forget what the Artificer is. It's like a 4-mana Artificer that's a 1/1. But whenever you play an artifact, you draw a card. He does have SRAM. SRAM is another one of those cards that is just a draw engine.
But he didn't have any of those. Like, I guess you're right.
No, I'm saying
I think he needed a draw engine. Like, he needed a draw engine. And I would mulligan
aggressively.
A pretty good hand.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't have, if it didn't have, like, Paradoxical or SRAM.
He did have Reverse Engineer, which he, I guess, was hoping would keep drawing him into one of those, right? Because it is a draw 3. So I think that was maybe the concession that Matt made. Matt was like, oh, well, I'll draw into it. But of course he just drew lands. I do think also, playing real games versus Cockatrice games, I do feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just biased, but I feel like I hit way more lands playing Cockatrice than I do anything else. And then, yeah, I don't know.
You're just used to Arena's auto shuffler.
I mean that too, but
being kind.
Even in person, I guess in person you also have those like bad variants where you just like super flood out. But
yeah.
Oh, it looks like Matt's ready to go. I'm just sitting here eating some pizza.
I mean, he has one plan. Like, he's not going to change up that much.
Oh, no. Taylor might have some good artifact removal.
I think he probably does. There's a lot in his color pair. Well, I guess not so much in black, but...
I took a ton of it in green. I was right next to him. I played the same colors. But I took a ton of artifact enchantment removal, so I'm not actually that confident that Taylor has that much. There is a lot in green, but I did have at least like 3 pieces in my main deck. So I'm not that confident that he has a ton. But we shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean... He might even have, like, incidental stuff, though. Or, like, is acidic slime in it? I can't remember if we put the bad acidic slime in.
Acidic slime is not in there. It's on the box, I think. Or one of the Adventure Time slimes. I think we decided that acidic slime is, just stupid good.
It's not wrong.
I mean, destroys lands. It's like... Alright, so Taylor's on the Hondens if he keeps this, but I don't think I don't know. I guess the Merchant lets him play Sanctum of Calm Waters. Sanctum of Calm Waters doesn't seem great here also, though. Like, when Matt's trying to mill you out.
When Matt's trying to mill you out.
I guess it's a May draw, so you don't have to draw the cards. Alright, that seems okay. Trudge is a good
and that's
beater.
also one of those that's like a you play it.
Matt,
you play around it.
Matt maybe could have gone for something better. I guess he does have the Floodhound, right? The Floodhound's pretty good.
I guess he had the Bloodhound last game too. That was his mind, his draw engine.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
That's one of his weakest. Like, it's gotta be.
Yeah. Well, Taylor does not have a particularly fast start here either, so this might, we'll see where this goes. Ooh, outcome though. It's pretty hot off the top.
Yeah, that's and with the monocle in hand, it's pretty good. But it is, and this is kind of what Matt and Foff were saying. It is a 9 mana, infinite loop.
It is, yeah.
So again, if Taylor, I was gonna say if Taylor can like put the pressure on like he did last game, but this hand really does not do that the same way.
Taylor's playing the long game here. Taylor's trying to drop some Hondens, start making some dudes.
Right, which I think is wrong against Matt. Like Taylor needs to be.
I mean, Taylor
beat
does
down.
Have this Trudge on 3, and then turn 4 it can attack as a 4/2, but I mean, this Lightning Core Excavator could just take it out if it needed to.
Yeah, I don't know about.
I mean, that's not probably I don't know. I mean, I'm saying Taylor could get aggressive soon. Not that soon. Still, like, turn 4 he'll be swinging. This isn't great.
Yeah, I don't know that that's where he wants to be. But
alternate, Taylor could, turn 3 here, drop Skullport Merchant,
we'll see.
And then go for turn 5 Honden of Life's Web.
I think that's probably what he's going to do.
I mean, that seems better, right? Get us, and then. I mean,
start drawing, but like I think he Skullports no matter what. Like I think Skullport is. He wants the treasure.
Yeah, I mean, I think Skullport, and then do you then just play Sanctum of Calm Waters? Because, like, you then fix for blue, I think.
Well, yeah, you fix for the turn.
No, Taylor's getting aggressive. Taylor says, I'm going to beat you down. I'm going to do it with this 4/2 that comes untapped. But I still think...
I'm going to do it.
I kind of think that's their correct play. I still think it's better to try to get aggressive. Because, like we said, Matt has more inevitability.
Sure.
Okay, this is a good draw for Matt.
Yeah, I mean, this is his deck right now. He kind of doesn't have the
mana, though.
The 0 manas that he wants, though.
Yeah. That's true.
Like, he wants those artifacts to be Cathar shields.
All engine, no shields.
Not exactly where you want to be.
Yeah. Honestly, I think if Matt could get a land and somehow start drawing... I don't know. Yeah, I guess a land first, right? Because you want to drop the Reservoir. You want to start being able to draw cards on the same turn with Floodhound.
Right.
And if you get Reservoir, you can... If you draw into those eggs and you can outcome, you're going to gain some life back, which is pretty good.
Right.
Alright, Taylor probably next turn just drops Honden of Life's Web. That's the better one. And then goes for Sanctum of Calm Waters.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an argument that, like, he might want the card draw faster.
Is Matt, what's Matt doing? He's just making a food here? Tapping out for that?
Yeah, I think I would Calm Waters first. I think Taylor wants to see more of his deck before... Like, the engine is... I guess he's doing that with Skullport too, though. Right? Like, the argument is that, like, Honden is also drawing him cards.
Oh, what's happening with the Floodhound here? What? Is this an accidental... I guess maybe Matt can't make the clue for whatever reason?
Yeah.
That's funny. I see what you're saying. Depending on what... if Taylor draws another land, then maybe... Sanctum of Calm Waters is better to hedge against the flood. But if he draws a piece of action, I think you start going for the Honden of Life's Web. Because I think you just want to start getting your board as wide as possible and just beating it for damage. Because, Matt doesn't have... he has a 1/2. If you make your board really wide, you can swing in for the end. I think that's where I would go towards. Ornithopter is pretty good here.
Yeah, that is what he wanted.
Matt can then make another clue. Or he could crack a clue. I think. Well, you can't tap it right away, unfortunately. Oof. All right, Matt needs a little more mana, but
Yeah,
he's getting somewhere.
he probably wanted to land before that Ornithopter. But Ornithopter does something.
It's sort of a land. Sort of. I mean, oh, he cracked the clue. He got the land. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think it was a risk. That was a good risk reward situation. Paid off. All right, get that reservoir online. Start storming off, I think. Well, he still needs more eggs. It's a little rough.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is the answer to our debate.
I say drop the Honden of Life's Web, though.
I think it's Sanctum of Calm Waters because he's using the treasure to cast the Honden, to cast the green Honden. So he would cut himself off from
but he hasn't
cast the blue.
He hasn't played a land yet, though. You go just play the 5th land.
Oh, okay.
And then save.
Yes, that's different then.
Save the Sanctum for the following turn. Or the Calm Waters for the following turn.
Right. You're really thinking this out.
I guess the argument for casting the Sanctum of Calm Waters. Another thing is you draw the card this turn. It's at the pre-combat main phase. Oh no, never mind. You don't, because you have to go main phase to cast it. Either way, so they trigger next turn. I think easy. Oh, what's up?
Do you guys hear static when I talk?
Talk again? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's very bad.
Okay. Looks like Matt's experiencing tough technical difficulties.
It's mnemonic wall. It's causing the static.
So, Stack, what have you been up to post-retreat?
Not much. Mostly doing drugs from Colorado.
Well, that's fun.
It's been, it's been a blast.
How's work been with the book stuff with Coase? All good?
It's been great.
Nice.
But I mean, it's the same as it always is, and it's only going to get worse as we get closer to the holidays.
Oh, I was going to say, is it ramping up, and is there any...
It's already, yeah.
Oh, is there any supply chain issues that are affecting you guys, or you're just more of a distributor?
It doesn't seem like super terrible. We'll see once the holidays start, because it was really bad last year, but that was more because DeJoy was completely strangling the USPS. And that seems to have gotten a little better.
That's good.
Okay, so you win the non-existent bet.
Of the Life's Web versus the Calm Waters.
Yes.
I think that's I don't know. I think start making pressure.
Yeah. When you say it that way, I'm more convinced. Ooh, a high alert is spicy.
Creatures can attack us if they don't have defender.
Right, but they can't crew. It doesn't turn them into, the Kaldheim Ox.
The Ox is really good.
Because the Ox is in the cube, right?
Oh yeah, I know. I think
Yeah.
Matt has the Ox in his deck. I think
Oh, okay.
I think the Ox, yeah. So the other thing about playing the Storm deck, I think, is, you're a little light on interaction, right? Because I think, ideally, if Matt was just a normal control deck, you'd have a kill spell here for the Trudge or something. But not the case. So I do think Tezzeret might be one of his best removal spells. I think Matt's really just trying to execute his own plan.
Yeah, but also, in this moment, it kind of doesn't... Well, he didn't play... I thought he was going to play Hyler.
No, I don't think so. I don't, it doesn't make his creatures that much.
I mean, it slows down Taylor's clock. By a lot. Taylor might think,
rather
we're attacking into 2/3/3s.
That's true. Or it's a 2/2 and or,
Oh, right. Floodhound's a 1/2, not a 1/3. Yeah.
If you could crew the plow... Actually, the plow is worse with Hyler.
Oh, those are very fun spirits.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the tokens we need to get for the cube. That and the Hornet Queen.
Those are expensive.
These guys? I don't know. Taylor had some...
I know the Hornet Queen ones are really expensive.
The Hornet Queen ones are $5 a pop. So...
I know.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't buy them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Taylor has a good turn here.
Was that just a pass for Matt? No.
I think so. Matt played the Reservoir and then couldn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Taylor just drew
Right,
Rasheen.
I thought they had somehow gone another turn cycle.
Oh, yeah, no. Taylor has Rasheen Meanderer, which does, synergize with the Ochre Jelly, but is also just a 4/4 for 4. Which is...
Yeah, the 4/4 for 4. Someone at the retreat was talking about that, and they were like, 4/4 for 4 is just good.
Taylor really, Taylor reminded me that. Taylor was like, it's not just, an X matters creature. It is just a good creature. And it's a hybrid creature.
Right, it can fit.
Right.
Fit in other places,
And if you have an X, matters payoff, way better. But, if you don't, it's still fine. So, yeah. And then Taylor, I think, will also have them end up to play Sanctum of Calm Waters. So, really, proving why the Hondas are so good.
Will he?
I think so, right? Because didn't he play... He played Life Swipe off 5 lands, and he has a 6 land in hand.
But that's only 7.
Isn't Sanctum only... Oh, Sanctum's 4.
Sanctum's 4, yeah.
My bad. You're right. I thought it was 3. Arena land here is not so great. Can Matt use this outcome to good effect yet in any way? What do you... Not really.
Yeah, not really.
What would you do in Matt's position? Do you hold up the Excavator to kill the Trudge? That doesn't seem great. I guess you could use it and you could bolt something that attacks. But
I mean, you can. You know what he'll probably do is hold Paradox. Paradoxical is an instant. He'll probably hold Paradoxical,
block and bounce everything.
block, bounce everything. Yeah.
I could see that. I was gonna say the other one I could see is play High Alert to just gain a life and then make a clue, which isn't great, but it does give you something else to bounce for Paradoxical for an extra card. Because then you don't have to crack the clue; you just bounce the clue.
You can't bounce tokens with Paradoxical.
Oh no, you're right. You can't.
So it doesn't
It doesn't do anything.
Because then what he's going to do is he's going to Paradoxical and then he's going to Mnemonic Wall on his turn.
Yeah.
And that's maybe game over for Taylor. Like,
do you think so?
He's going to have
Taylor's getting a wide board. I don't think.
Right, but Matt's going to start gaining a lot of life quick. I'm not saying Taylor's out of it.
You think he gains one life? I mean, I know it spirals, but Matt then has to be able to play multiple things in the same turn, which he doesn't quite have the mana to do yet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I guess
he has the Ornithopter. Like he can.
I guess Ornithopter, Lightning Core, Floodhound. That's 4 mana for 3 creatures. That's 1, 2, 3, or 1 plus 2 plus 3. So it's 6 life that Matt's going to be able to gain in 3 cards. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know.
That's I mean...
And Matt does gain a life here from the Paradoxical.
Why does he gain off of Paradoxical?
Reservoir.
Right. I forget it triggers every time.
So that is like a good little life gain engine. Matt has some good sequencing right here. Oh.
Right, like this is also the thing that was going to happen.
That's some gas right there.
Because now he's going to be able to do a quarter shield, Prism. Well, he might not actually want to play Prism.
And some say a quarter shield is bad. But you know what I say? It's still bad.
Free.
But it's free.
It is bad, but I am free. It sounds like those, I am cringe, but I am free.
You know what? Matt really maximized his synergies, and I have to commend him on this. Because his A Quarter Shield, once it does nothing, he can equip it, once he has High Alert on the field, make all his creatures bigger. It's actually a decent equipment in that way.
And Vigilance, no less.
That was sort of the niche, all these shields might be able to be playable in a High Alert toughness, Bud's Matter deck. And Matt's doing both, so kudos to him. So here I think you just play out all the cheap free stuff first. Or do you play a Giant Ox? Oh. Is Matt doing Plow Ox?
He's just doing Plow Ox, which...
Pretty good. He could do Plow Ox, Floodhound, Lightning Core, A Quarter Shield, and you just gain a ton of life. That Reservoir really is doing work right now. Bloodhound and Lightning Core? That's what I'd say. Oh, yeah. Matt's just going for all the life.
Yeah.
19.
And that's what I'm saying, is this is Taylor's
Well, I mean, I think Matt also, I guess Matt did draw 3 cards. He was going to hit another land, and once he hit this, free spell, it really does a lot. And the crazy thing is, you're absolutely right. Matt can just Mnemonic Wall next turn.
Do it again.
Yeah. I mean, High Alert also looks pretty good here, right? Maybe not.
Oh yeah, I think but he can use that as like a backup at this point.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because like the Ox can just block on its own, right? It's just a 0-6. Taylor is following the game plan though. Taylor like I'm just gonna go as wide as possible.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is like that game plan was good when Matt was at 8. It's useless when Matt's at 24. Like
if Taylor, I don't know if there is an overrun effect. I can't remember.
That's true.
But if there is, that's Taylor's still in there.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Taylor's also making 2 free tokens per turn and drawing like 2 cards and can sack tokens to get extra. Like Matt still has to win. I'd say that's
well, that's Magic for you.
Yeah.
There comes a point where you do still have to win.
I mean, Taylor. Like, do you still? I think if I was Taylor, I think I still swing out here. Like, the Ox doesn't trade with the Trudge. Nothing trades with the Trudge, right?
Nobody trades with the Trudge.
I guess the Colossal Plow trades with the Trudge, but that's a trade you're happy to make, I think, if you're Taylor.
At this point.
And then you're still getting in for like 5-6 damage. Nothing trades well with or blocks well against the Meanderer. I think you still just keep pushing damage. Like, Matt's not going to turn this around
for sure.
Get on the offensive, so...
I'm not saying he shouldn't turn sideways. Like,
oh, look here.
I'm just saying...
Another Hondon. That's...
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's 3 cards and 3... Taylor has to watch out with the cards. I think secretly, he draws too many cards, he's going to put himself in danger there.
Mm-hmm.
Only swing with the big guys. I don't like that. I think... Because, right, you're going to make 3 tokens a turn. Who cares if, like, max 2 would die. That's absolute max if Matt made the optimal blocks for just killing the tokens.
Right. Which he's not going to do.
And it's not, also,
I don't understand why Matt didn't block with the... Oh, I forgot I always think the plow is a 6/6, but that would be crazy.
The plow's like really good early in the game, and then it's at a weird spot afterwards. When it's gaining you life and mana, it's really good, and it's also just a 6/3. But
Well, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right. Didn't say please. Nice to have a little counter backup. Prophetic Prison's gonna draw a card. Yeah.
Oof. Didn't say please is mean. And that's gonna if Taylor gets hit with it, which I don't know who else is gonna get hit with it, but Taylor's gonna be
this altar. Oof.
Specifically mad.
All right, now Taylor has a real concern. It's like you want to draw in more gas, but maybe you don't draw 3 cards anymore.
Does he have any choice?
It's a May. It's a May on that one. Some of the older Hondons are not Mays. Like, Hondon of Life's Web is just make the spirits, which is, fine. But, like, drawing cards, you don't always
There's no real time you would care about that.
Yeah. Also, Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest is not a May. You just add the mana. So
that's pretty funny.
If you had mana burn, it would not be as optimal. But never happened. Ooh, all right. Nice. Taylor's clearly going to deploy that. Go for the wall. But Matt didn't say please up. The question is, I think if Taylor plays never happened, Matt is going to didn't say please up. I think Matt knows that well. Ooh, Primal Might.
Ooh, Primal Might is good, but again.
Well, Primal Might's kind of like just a really good win con here. Like, what the fuck? Taylor just drew three cards there.
I think that's fine. I think he's not in
No, I think you still do it at this
death
early.
mode
Yeah.
at this point.
I think in a turn or two, you stop. I think Taylor would.
Yeah, I think Taylor. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think Taylor needs to take a look at Matt's hand with Never Happen and assess whether or not it's safe.
I think the best thing for Taylor would be for him to never happen. Matt would definitely didn't say please that because he doesn't want Taylor to necessarily know about the mnemonic wall.
Didn't say play is also gonna mill some cards, and
Yeah, that's true.
mill 4 cards actually. This is 3 and then plus alter the bridge. No, actually alter the bridge only permanent. Never mind, take it back. Still 3 cards. Taylor only has 15 left at this point. I kind of think Taylor's best plan might be at some point to do a big swing out. Ooh, Mother Bear is sweet. Mother Bear, you don't mind getting in the yard.
Right.
I think Taylor wants to, because also Taylor's making 3 free mana turn off Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest.
Yeah.
I guess it's at the beginning of your main phase, though, so it's not that useful. But I was going to say... Oh, I guess Primal Might's also... Sorcery Speed. I thought it was instant. I was like, you could jank him out with, gets +10/+10. A little harder this way. Still a big fight.
Yeah, but it's not impossible.
Still... I mean, if Taylor gets something with Trample, then it's pretty good.
Right, exactly.
Alright. Taylor's position, probably just play this Harvester for the 5/5. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just always
reminder text.
refuse to draw.
You may draw a card, you don't have to.
This one's at Joe. At Joe.
Yeah, at Joe Skinner. Friendly reminder there. Also just a 5/5 with
our
that.
Devoted watcher, Joe.
Yeah. Alright, I do like Taylor's board state. I mean, Matt's hand is pretty scary, though.
Yeah, it's a weird,
Oh, you know what's really tricky? Matt could just... Oh, at the beginning of your upkeep. I was going to say, Matt might be able to, if he mnemonic walls for the Paradoxical and plays Triskaidekaphile, if he lines it up just right, I don't think drawing 13 cards is that hard when you can bounce, half of them as permanents, and then you gain the other half as cards you draw.
Right.
That's pretty good. Matt would need to get to an odd number of cards in hand before he does that, but it is a pretty decent game plan, I think. Yeah, Taylor is fighting on 3 axes here.
Yeah.
Or is trying
when does Triskaideka? It is. You have to wait a turn.
You do have to wait a turn.
Right, but what's Taylor going to do to affect Matt's hand?
I mean, also Matt can.
No, you don't have to wait a turn. He paradoxicals
at instant speed. That's what I'm saying.
At instant speed, right? At end step, right?
Triskaidekaphile is actually really, really sneaky here. I really like that. I think Matt said he wanted to play with this card in the cube, and I don't know. I think I remember us talking about it being like, oh, this is kind of ridiculous but fun, but it also has 4 mana draw a card, very solid.
Right.
But to think that you can actually win the game off it is pretty cool.
I mean, it's there for...
Yeah. I mean, but the win the game is mostly just oh, yeah, that would be fun, but, we're getting messages? Maybe I'm just getting messages on my Discord.
No, I heard that too.
It's Fob.
Plow blocked.
How was the plow able to block? I missed that. Did you catch that, Stack?
No, I wasn't looking at the blocks.
I was not either. Was it crude? Alright, I'm going in the feed.
Just at one of them.
Someone check. Okay. Oh. Oh, just pop in a voice chat. All right, we could do that. All right, I'm gonna hop over. Be right back. Hey, Matt and Taylor.
Yeah.
Did the colossal plow, did it block? We're just wondering how it got into the yard.
Yeah, it was crewed with the ox.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you.
And then it traded with the 4/4.
Copy. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened?
So it was crewed by the ox, and then it traded for the 4/4. Is the story I was told.
Okay.
Wait, how?
Fofes.
Was it tapped, Foff? It doesn't need power.
No, the ox.
The ox.
That's the ox's whole thing. It crews with its butt.
Yeah, it crews with its toughness rather than its power. Yeah, so the ox cruise is a 6/6. Okay. What a beast. Oh, yes, the ox is a beast. The ox was made to pull that
It's also
plow.
literally a beast.
Oh shit, okay. I did not see the SRAM come down. You blink or
He just drew it.
hop into the other chat and you miss a beat. Also,
He did play Tristia Decaphile, so I think he's going for that.
you think so?
That seems... Well, no, because he didn't play the mnemonic wall, so he can't do it this turn.
Okay.
Maybe he was just playing that to get another body. Oh, I'm sure he sees the line.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
This is tough. I don't see how Taylor gets out of this.
I don't so much either anymore.
Without an overrun.
Without an overrun.
If there's an overrun, he's
I don't
golden.
think he has one in his deck. I don't know that there's many, if any, in the cube. Oh, did he use the Primal Might? He killed something with the Primal Might. He killed the Ox, perhaps?
I don't know.
Okay. I do think Taylor probably should have been swinging all along with these 1/1s.
Right.
I would say that is one thing where Taylor's missed damage. I don't know how much, but
Probably a lot, but
probably pretty significant, but maybe not still enough. It would be hard to calculate.
Yeah.
Probably, I would say like 6 or 7 a turn at this point.
The thing is, he is going to drop a giant Ochre Jelly next turn, which does have trample.
That's what you kind of need to use the Primal Might on. Something like that. Because then it kills a blocker, still gets in for a ton, and then you can just swing in with everything else. Yeah, I mean, maybe... Also, Fierce Witch Stalker. Maybe Taylor should have waited on that Primal Might. Maybe that was a bad move.
I'm not 100% sure what happened with the Primal Might. It felt like he didn't use it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened either. Alright, let me check that. It's hard to check the...
Oh no, he did it. He did it on. He killed the ox. Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured.
And that's when Matt crewed. So he crewed
Oh, in response.
the thing in response and confused Fall.
That makes sense.
Yeah. There's no way he had the Ochre Jelly in hand when he did that. He wouldn't have.
There's no way. I doubt that. The ox crewed in response. Gaudy indeed. Oxati. Good one, Foff. Is this a small ochre jelly? I'm confused.
Me too.
It's only a 4/4.
Interesting.
Ochre jelly, fierce witch stalker. Like, I don't. Oh, all right. Taylor's not getting aggressive. This is good. This is where he's needed to be.
Yeah.
Because Matt is not, having that same turn where he's gaining a ton of life in the same way. So.
I mean, he will when he plays Demonic Wall. Like, I wonder if he's waiting to do it.
I think he wants to do it in the
cycle.
same. Yeah, but I think that's not the best. I think
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 7, so he's waiting for 2 mana sources.
I think that's not a good idea.
Against 3 1/1s a turn is not nothing.
What was that? Matt was at what? 23? 23? Yeah. I mean, that's 11 damage. That's pretty real. Also, the other thing is I think Taylor should have just been swinging with that Trudge because
he can bring it back.
He can gain the light to get it back to his hand, no problem. All right, I kind of think I think Taylor's still in the driver's seat here, or like back in the driver's seat, totally. I think
he's gonna. I think he does probably draw a card here.
If
just sack something. I know he's getting like tight on.
I mean, these
Aetherflux, or not Aetherflux, Alter.
3 spirits a turn though, like that'll get Matt dead, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. This is close because I mean,
it is.
Taylor only has 7 cards,
and Matt's what now? Like one mana short of doing. I mean, Matt just did the pneumatic wall.
Right.
Can't do it this turn though, right?
You know what I think he does? I think he plays Hyler. I think he plays both.
Yeah, I like that.
Because then he
4/4.
He gets another mill. He gets 2 more life, and he gets much better blockers.
That's true. Another. Oh yeah, I forgot the fucking mill. Wow, Taylor's.
That's what I was saying. Taylor's tight on the mill. Like if Taylor had been able to draw the cards that he wanted to with his deck, instead of getting more than half of the mill,
I also think Hyler's just worth the 2 life here, right? Because Taylor got him for 11. He's not.
Yeah, but he went to end stat.
He did. Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't understand holding this Hyler for as long as he has. I don't know what he gets by waiting on it.
Yeah, I think you just pitch it for at this point, Hyler's text might as well read gain 2 life. And I would be happy to play that card in this situation.
Gain 2 life Mellow card.
Gain 2 life Mellow card. For 3 mana? In Azorius? You don't see that rate anywhere else. It's a Dimir card.
The value. All about the value.
That's like an Esper card, right? Gain 2 life is white. Mellow card is probably I guess it could be an Azorius card, like blue and white.
Yeah. Well, the mill is a little off color, but
blue mills.
It's just not something Azorius doesn't.
Exactly, it's not something that the 2 colors would ever do together.
What does Giant Skewer do here? Oh, so he did sack.
Okay.
For a draw.
Is he you're gonna mill me in anyway at this point?
I mean, that's kind of what I was saying. Is I think he wants to see more of his. I think he needs one more thing to really get him over that hump of.
Maybe Taylor does just draw his deck because the other thing is he knows.
No, because Matt has Paradoxical now.
Yeah, but Matt has two 1-drops, right? So 1/2 a quarter shield's free. Matt can make him mill out his entire deck next turn. If he plays Paradoxical on him and blocks the way he is going to block, Taylor's going to mill out on his upkeep.
Exactly.
So I guess there's no reason not to get those cards and to see if you could win this turn. Because Taylor needs to win this turn or Taylor's done.
Right. And he's close.
Oh yeah.
presumably. Like, he's got so many creatures. And I know 3 of those spirits can attack, but 7 of them can.
See, this is one of those things though where it's like I think Taylor just missed the earlier damage, and it's a little too late at this point. Not by much though.
Yeah, not by much. He missed like two attack steps, I think, that he could have gone in.
I think
and he would be down. He would be down like 3 spirits at this point in the game, but I think Matt would be down 6 or 7 more life. Like,
I think so too. Yeah, I think that's the trade-off. I mean, you're making 3 spirits a turn. I think at the turn where we said Taylor might want.
I can already hear Taylor arguments for why he didn't.
I can't yet, but I'm excited to hear them.
He's gonna point at like a screen cap of the board state and be like, "This blocks this blocks like that."
I mean, I think no matter what, we were in agreement that he loses block, but there was at least one turn there where he could have swung all out, and it was just like, yes, you would lose 2 spirits, but you would make 3 the next turn, and then like everything else could.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he should have been like alpha striking every turn, but I think he missed probably 2 attack steps that he could have gotten in with everything. What's Faf saying?
Fafa saying, I think this is Taylor's last turn. Oscure is good for the Tramplers. Oh yeah, this is his last turn. And then Matt says, Taylor and I can see this, so please mute. And Matt's like, use voice chat. And Faf's like, I can. So, Bob, you could also message just me or Stack, and we could just read them aloud. So feel free to do that. That would get around some of this. I can't. It's about principle. Love that. All right. So I think for the other lords, since I am recording this right? Really? I think I am. I should be. It looks like it's recording. The little recording button is on, so I think I'm good. Should it turn out all right, I feel like we might be able to make the pay-per-view happen.
Yeah. $5 ahead.
Yeah. You want to see what you missed out on? Send me a Venmo.
So Taylor, interestingly, didn't draw his deck.
I mean,
he's really going for... Did he count this?
I don't know.
Right, because Matt blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he blocks Harvester, Trudge, Witch Stalker, probably the Jelly, just to do it. And then the Jelly...
Oh.
So then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's not lethal.
But is he betting that Matt is gonna have to block what some of the things Matt needs to like kill him, to make him mill out?
No, I don't think so. Because he's gonna...
The squirrel also can... It also, whenever you sack... The squirrel grows bigger, so he has to block the squirrel.
Yeah, but he's got Ornithopter... Does the squirrel get trample? No, you just gain life.
Squirrel does not gain trample.
Right, look. He's got the Ornithopter, he's got the shield, he's got the altar itself, he's got Pro Prism. That kills Taylor.
He only has 3 mana, though. Like, 4 to play the outcome and 3 mana.
He doesn't have 4 to play the outcome.
Isn't
I see what you're saying. You're saying
he needs to have 4 to play the outcome and then be able to drop.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's altar, Quarter Shield, Ornithopter, Prophetic Prism. That's 3 mana.
Ornithopter's a 2-drop, though. Same with Prophetic Prism.
Oh my god, I'm thinking it's fucking Ornithopter. But you're right, it's the stupid bird.
Yeah. I would say Matt needs to keep...
I don't know, this might be the right choice by Taylor.
Matt needs to keep Alter the Brood, a Quarter Shield, and Lightning Excavator And
Do you need to
Floodhound.
keep them in play, though?
Yeah, they need to survive this combat.
Right, well, the Quarter Shield's going to do that.
The Quarter Shield and Alter the Brood are freebies. Like, no problem. The Excavator, he has to use it to jump, and same with the Flood. Like, this is a little rough here. I would swap out the Ornithopter for the Excavator here, and maybe put the Excavator on the Floodhound instead, and see if Taylor, knows that he has to pump the Squirrel. I think Taylor probably does know. But
Why would he not?
no, yeah. But I would probably hedge. I guess I would hedge to keep the. I don't know. At least if you block that way, at least one of your one mana creatures survive, and like maybe you draw an egg, right? Like maybe you draw
the other thing
a 0 mana.
For Taylor, though, about pumping the Squirrel is that pumping the Squirrel requires him to draw a card. Because every ability that sacrifices also draws a card. No, he can sack the food. You're right. He can sack the food.
Sacrifice an artifact or creature? No, yeah, he could just sack the food.
He can sack the food.
Okay, so
I was thinking he would have to activate something.
So yeah, I still think I would keep one of the 1 mana guys around. Like, this does not seem. I think Matt might have played this a little loose. Because Prophetic Prison. I mean, you can't put Prophetic Prison in front of anything, but yeah.
I think it's Tezzeret in play.
All right, Taylor milled a card there. Oh, because the clue came in. Ooh.
Yeah, I think he's still got it.
I think he does too. I just would have blocked differently, right? Because it hedges slightly better. Because like you still could activate the Floodhound, whether or not it whether or not it trades, but if you had one of the more of those 1 mana guys around, I don't know. Maybe Matt did it perfectly right because Matt is only at 2, right? So like maybe there wasn't that much. No, but Matt left the Ornithopter back. I guess he can float the mana and then paradoxical it also,
Right. I'm going to be very interested because it seemed likely that we're going to see the rest of Taylor's deck at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be interested to see if the correct play was draw your whole deck, see what you can do.
Yeah.
Like, assume
Cathar Shield. This is done.
Cathar Shield.
Cathar Shield for the win. Holy
for the win.
Shit.
Well, he didn't need it, but it is still funny that it was his top deck.
Yeah. Oh, with a forest for Mike Mocha there.
There it is.
Shout out.
Cathar Shield Forest, go.
Yeah, it's a little backwards this time.
It's a little backwards, but it's,
Still has the same flavor to it. Alright, this has been an exciting match to watch. I'm excited for Game 3 here. I think Matt has this one. Unless there's
sewn up, yeah.
Unless there's a fumble, but I think...
Unless also there's...
Well, also now that Matt has the Cathar Shield, right? He bounces the shield in a quarter shield. That's 2 mills right there.
Taylor could have an Eldrazi.
Oh, yeah. I don't think so. As one of the people who made the cube, along with you, I don't think there's any Eldrazi.
You forgot. I slipped in a Evercool the Aeon's Torn. Oh, interesting. So he doesn't even put their reservoir back. No, we wanted to see the deck.
Well, there's only 2 cards left. So
I know.
I guess also, Taylor has no reason. Taylor scoops before the mill, right? Like,
yeah, he doesn't. Matt knows his whole deck.
No, but
probably at this point, but he gets to
maybe
exactly.
he doesn't, or whatever, or don't give him the reminder of the what. Also, it's sort of like the mulligan kind of mentality there. It's just like, don't look. You don't want to feel. Or maybe do.
I think that's a case where we wanted to know because we wanted to.
Oh, see if it was the correct play or not. Definitely. But I think for Taylor personally, probably just don't look, right. And then just look at your side. When you're sideboarding here, double check what outs you have to that. There are, I will say, some shuffle effects in the cube that shuffle your graveyard back into your library. So there are some things that hedge specifically against this deck.
I think that, like, yeah, that just seems so edge case though for Taylor. Like,
Oh, totally. I
hey,
mean,
why would he have that in the sideboard? Be like, even if he did, I don't know that I would commit to. I would just commit to the beatdown. Like,
I would too. I do think, Matt was at 2. That one extra swing could have done it, and I think Taylor might be hitting himself a little bit about
aware
that.
of that.
Yeah, but hey, there's a whole nother game. So, and
Yeah.
also you and I were like, the Hondan seems slow, but once you got 3 of them,
I mean, once you got, I never doubted the power of the online Honda deck. Like,
no, you're right.
but I'm just saying it. I was like, I don't know that it'll,
It didn't seem as good as when you're keeping just 2 of them in your opening hand. I will say, once you got them on the field, they're a lot better.
Yeah, but they were still slow. Like, it took him time to like.
And Matt needed to draw his right. Like, Matt had to assemble his engine, so they kind of
Right, which he arguably got the time to do, but
he did.
Because not necessarily because of time. Like, I don't know. I think what I like about the format in general, or the cube in general, is I do think it trends fairly slow, which was part of why we didn't finish. And so I think that, like, in that environment, yeah, the Hondans have a place.
Oh yeah. Any cards you've seen here that you're like, oh, it seems like maybe just too good? I think at least these decks are lining up pretty well. I think that it's an interesting match.
I'm interested in Paradoxical Infinite Combo.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. And I do think that, like, what we saw in that game is that it really did help Matt, like,
yeah,
because that was the brutal turn of, like, he was able to kind of just be like, whatever, Paradoxical, I know I'm getting it back later. Like,
yeah, that was pretty good. I will say, there was a couple turns where Matt just had it in his hand and it was just like, it would be nice to draw cards, but like he had nothing. It would hurt him so much more. So we kind of have to wait for the right turn to do it.
Yeah, but that's not a barrier to.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. It would also be interesting.
That's just like true of cards. Like,
okay, that's true. Like
that. It's like, oh yeah, you should play it at the best time. Like,
well, I'm saying like against a maybe more aggressive strategy, or just like slightly more aggressive hand from Taylor. I don't know. Who knows?
I get what you're saying.
Or you're playing against another controlling sort of player who has counter magic. You just counter the outcome. I guess with Mnemonic Wall, easier said than done. But if Matt didn't have Mnemonic Wall, Paradox was a little more fragile. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I think there's probably some good counterplay to a lot of these cards, and I'm excited to see as we play the cube more, sort of how people discover and like hedge towards some of that, and how the meta evolves.
I want to work on scheduling a draft for it, because I do think I said it and I meant it. I want it to be the first East backdraft. Backdraft.
I also started working on another cube.
Oh my gosh, you're a madman.
Just a list. I'm not putting it together yet. I was inspired by the Commander Legends and Conspiracy and Battle Bond we played on the trip. So trying to make something like that has commanders,
multiplayer,
legendary creatures, potential for multiplayer, like 2-headed. So I just started on that. I'm not very far, but stay tuned for like in a year maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I was looking at a lot of the Commander Legends, or specifically the partner creatures. I think they're really cool. And all the Battle Bond cards are really cool too. So I was like, oh, they kind of overlap, sort of like legendary creatures, some of the partners things. We'll see. We'll see what comes of it. But I do agree that I'm like excited to play this cube next.
Yeah.
Foff said, "Sweet cube, y'all. I love both decks." Okay, wait. Next retreat? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Will we play it on next retreat? I think so. I'm
Yeah.
feel sure about that. Or is he saying next retreat is soon? Or when's the next retreat
We'll
happening?
find out.
Yeah. Well, what's next? Island? No, Island's last. We're going to Granada. Then we're not actually going to go to Granada. Ooh, Matt's hands are really good.
Are we back on?
Yeah. We're back live.
Oh yeah, that's well, yeah. Oh, I didn't see the altar.
The altar's a pretty hot opener. Taylor's a little more meh, but he still can get the Witch Doctor on 4, which is pretty solid. It's got 4/4s on 4, you know?
Yeah.
Something to be said about that. Ochre Jelly not looking so hot before several turns down the line. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good.
Oh, Bog Beast is actually his overrun effect. Bog Beast?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure why Taylor kept this.
I don't know exactly either. Shambling Suit, I'm like, why is that card in there? I guess it's good with the Hondens and all the... I'm not that impressed by it. It's fine.
Well, you put the card in.
I put it in for kind of this Cheerios deck as a backup plan. Because it can get big. And it's still not my favorite, but it's sort of, I think it's also kind of funny, the idea of like...
I was just like, why are my...
An empty suit.
It's like, why are my, ratios on this screen so weird? And it was because I didn't adjust it since I used it to make the playmat. To fit the dimensions of the playmat.
Goldwing pick. Alright, well, Taylor at least has all the lands he needs here. So he's not but Matt is slowly just taking apart his deck. Oh, and he got the outcome? Oof. Alright, so what do we see here? Aether Flux Reservoir, and then start waiting for the outcome. Taylor needs to apply pressure directly to Matt's face.
Forehead.
Yeah.
To Matt's forehead.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, the freighter is nice. I mean, because, his turn...
Freighter's nice, but it would have been better if it was turn 3 into the...
Oh, I thought this was his turn 3.
No, yeah, Freighter's a little...
Yeah.
It's a little...
Yeah, it's a little clunkier now.
Not on curve, it's not as great.
I mean, Rashid Meander into Ochre Jelly is also
That's a good one. I
serious
like that.
business.
Oh.
But, ooh.
The mill card's just like, ooh, I would love that, yeah. That would have been hot. Some hot cards that have been milled. Mainly the Bog Beast and the Primal Might, but...
I will say this, and this is a point in, Taylor's corner, is that, Matt doesn't necessarily have a ton of stuff he wants to bounce with Paradoxical.
No, that's the other thing. Matt needs some setup time, but Matt does have deep analysis.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is pretty good. I do think, doesn't Matt not, or at least the art I'm seeing, I think Matt doesn't like this art, the Bolus one.
I'm looking at the Cephalid one.
Oh, yeah, I got the Bolus one here.
With the 3-mouthed ogre thing.
Oh. Alright, big Ochre Jelly.
Very big Ochre Jelly.
Oh, didn't see, please. No.
Yeah, it's good, but it's also
He has to hold it up, though. And Deep Analysis is at sorcery speed, so at least he can't draw cards and hold up the counterspell just yet.
He passed end step, so.
Alright.
He's saying I'm holding Paradoxical and Didn't Say Please. I mean, Paradoxical to alter the brood, like replaying everything is not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, and Matt can play all three things very easily. Plus prophetic, like why not, bounce the prophetic prism at this point? Yeah, it's a lot of card draw. I guess also paradoxical outcome, you can just, to use it to fade an attack is also pretty good. So.
Right, but that doesn't do anything against Ochre Jelly now.
No, you're right, it doesn't. But
that's
still,
what I'm saying. Taylor got that Ochre Jelly in the perfect window, for it to not get.
That's true. Yeah.
Interesting that he didn't equip, but it's I see what I see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go straight into Witch Stalker, because that's a time walk for Matt.
You think
he
so?
He goes one of the 3-drops, he can play the other 3-drop still, which is nice.
Yeah, if he plays 2 3s, that's pretty good.
Well, now he can't counter anything.
All right.
I don't know about this. I don't know that this is the time to do this.
Matt's gonna draw a fuck ton of cards, though. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
He's drawing, 4 cards there? Look at that hand. How many cards? 10 cards in hand?
Yeah, nothing crazy,
Nothing crazy, though.
Well, I mean, he's going to mill a lot the next turn.
He's going to mill a good chunk, and he's going to gain a good chunk of life back. But he is taking 8 here. He does just get whopped.
And he shields down on Didn't Say Please.
That is true.
Taylor now gets to put either Witch Stalker or both of his 3-drops into play.
I think you play both 3s, and then you drop the Witch Stalker and swing with the Freighter. And you get to equip the Giant Skewer that same turn.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
he's doing it.
If Matt's going to need the life back, and to do that, he's going to need to kind of go shields down. So
right.
Taylor is sort of creating a good opening for himself. I do think that big Ochre Jelly, I think that was the correct play. I think if
100%.
Yeah, Taylor played the Witch Stalker. I think this wouldn't be nearly as good of a game. But
all right, so this is
1 life,
5 mana to play with,
2 life here. Plus another.
No, he doesn't gain a life off the island.
No, but he's gonna gain. Oh, he does mill though.
Yeah, he does.
He's then going to play the Floodhound, the Lightning Core, Prophetic Prison, and the Cathar Shield. Oof. I guess maybe you don't play the Lightning Core again. Maybe you just play the Ox. It does block better.
Yeah, but he's still chumping the Ochre Jelly no matter what.
That's true.
I guess he's taking less, though. So it's good.
Alright, so then... So 4 and 5. Wow, Matt's still going to gain 9 more life. This reservoir, putting in.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Once you get those 4 cards, it seems... those 3 cards, it seems pretty brutal.
Yeah, but if Taylor had some good artifact enchantment removal, Matt has no way to recur them other than bouncing them with Paradoxical. So if Taylor did have some enchantment removal, or artifact removal rather.
Right. So what you're saying is you made it so Taylor couldn't beat Matt.
Well, okay. I wouldn't
that.
say that. I said I know there's a lot of good enchantments and artifacts in the cube. More so enchantments, I feel like, for most decks. But this deck is all about artifacts. And it's working. I mean, Taylor's not out yet. Taylor still some time. Because Matt did use his Paradoxical, right? So after this... He's just going to mill 2 cards a turn. Well, his Deep Analysis probably drawn him more action. And Didn't Say Please. But he's not going to hold it up this turn. We'll see. $29. Fuck.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, he's so far ahead on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Taylor's gonna.
But I don't think Taylor can.
You don't think Taylor can get back from this? I don't know. I'm not counting him out yet, but I think it is it's a climb. You can imagine Taylor afterwards in the chat just saying like, yeah, his deck just like it mills cards, it gains life, it draws cards, it does all of the things.
Which is true.
It does.
Yeah, I think something's got to go. I think Mnemonic Wall is part of it, but watching this, I'm like, even without it,
you think it's just too consistent?
I think Matt just getting that, like, I think it's something where it's like, it's either got to be Alter or
Reservoir,
because he can attack on two different, angles by doing exactly the same thing with his deck.
I guess that's a good point.
Or that's my argument for it, at least. Like,
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, without Reservoir, Matt would I think Matt would have lost at least the last game for sure. I don't know. I'm skeptical of nerfing a deck after one competitive win. I mean, if we played again,
sure,
and it also crushes, I think then I think it's time for a nerf. But I do see cards in Matt's hand, and I'm like, these are cards that I think anyone could have played. I do think blue was underdrafted at our table. I think there were a lot of like Mardu and like we ran out of swamps actually. I think black was maybe overdrafted. And I think blue was underdrafted because I didn't see. I think there was like two people. I think Al played blue. I think Nick might have played some blue, and then I think Matt played blue. But like, didn't say please goes in any blue deck. Prophetic Prism is like any fix. Like it's as good fixing also, or like I guess it's filtering, but it's like pretty decent. It cantrips, and then I don't know. Deep Analysis is also partially in there because you can make your opponent draw cards with it. So, but maybe Matt
I don't know.
Does not.
No.
I could see you being right that something does have to go, but I'm interested in waiting a little bit longer before we talk about bannings. But I mean, we could talk about them, but I don't think.
What are we, wizards?
Or we just put Uro in and just accept it.
I'm gonna veto that.
Uro and Oko.
I'm in for Oko. True chaos.
Just push the food deck all the way.
Yeah, itself, I think.
Yeah, this Alter the Brood art is... I'm going to send it to you afterwards. It is sick. So I guess I'm saying I'm not into banning Alter the Brood because I think we should put the sweeter art card in, and then...
I'm picking up. I'm putting down. But then I'm also like, is it just that, like, Matt had the dream draft? It's like, would you necessarily get both?
I think Matt also...
Or is there an argument that, like, if the Goblin Storm deck, if someone was drafting the Goblin Storm deck, wouldn't they also want them?
They would probably also want Alter. They wouldn't necessarily want... In Reservoir, probably... But they wouldn't want Paradoxical. Paradoxical is pretty much
of course.
just
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, this looks oppressive because Matt gets to do one thing, which is just playing a bunch of stupid spells.
Yeah.
But he has two things that give him advantage when he does that.
That's true. And no one else... You're saying no one else contested him for those.
And he probably wheeled one of those.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or could have if he needed to. Like,
yeah.
I'm not taking fucking Aetherflux Reservoir. Like,
No.
and so that's what I'm saying is, like, that's what makes the deck pretty consistent.
There's also, maybe this is more niche, but there's an argument for a life gain deck to maybe take Aetherflux Reservoir.
Sure. I could see that.
It's maybe not the best.
But they're not getting nearly the same value.
No, yeah, you're right. But I'm saying it if
they're getting like 4 or 5, life.
Oh, I thought it was 40. I thought it was just you nug him for 40. 50 is I guess it had to be 50 because otherwise in Commander you would just kill people. Yeah, 50 is a lot to gain. I take it back. I was gonna say on a life gain you could just go for the get up to the max amount and Death Star shoot your opponent.
You're higher than Felidar Sovereign.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, there's good ways to gain life. Like, some of the life gain can get absurd, but you also need to block. Alright. That Barb Spike really, feels kind of like the nail in the coffin with 8 cards left. And like we said, or like I said, this deep analysis can go to either player. So, he can just say, Taylor, draw 4 cards.
Right.
And then I guess he's still... Well, if Matt gets to Didn't Say Please, which he probably will, Taylor's going to draw a card on his next upkeep also, so that's 4 cards there. And then Deep Analysis. Yeah, Deep Analysis could kill Taylor.
Yep.
I will say again, there are some shuffle effects, and I guess it's also... The thing is, being the first time around, in terms of drafting for sideboard, which I do think you can do effectively in this cube, no one knows what to do, right? And I don't blame anyone for...
Right, you think people underdrafted Artifact and...
I think so. I think underdrafted Artifact and
enchantment removal. When really this cube is run by its powerful enchantments and artifacts.
Yeah.
So many decks have those.
Yes.
Yes. Hitting vehicles, hitting the stupid enchantments in the donate lists, or hitting the black enchantments that are all about card draw.
Oh yeah.
Damage.
Joe killed Al with some of those. We both draw, but when you draw, you get
Right.
pinged.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you can take those out, some of these decks kind of they don't necessarily fall apart, but they falter a lot more. So
yeah,
I think,
Captive Audience was maybe the best card in my deck. It just always felt good, and people just sat there and were like,
The funny thing is, you didn't quite get me with it, but you almost did. At least one of the games we played. But even so, I never drew my stuff to deal with it. And I had 3 pieces in my main deck, so...
Yeah, it's true.
I wonder if we need more, artifact hate, specifically? Maybe... Or both? Or... I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, just Biforce.
Yeah, I almost had this card... We were going to put in this card that was... I forget what it's called, but it's a Witherbloom card that's destroy X enchantments. X artifacts or enchantments, it's 2 green and an X. And then you make 2 times X pest tokens. So I was just this game's a little bit absurd, almost in the opposite way, that if you can prey on artifacts and enchantments, you just make a huge board and if Taylor had that card, I think Taylor would win this game. Well, maybe not at this point with 6 cards in the library, but still.
He might.
It would do.
I think that's fine, because I think what that's saying is that card just says hose.
Yeah.
Only this one deck.
Kind of, yeah.
Maybe 2. It's only really good against the blue black and
There's
blue white.
Some heavier enchantment decks also that it would hose, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess hitting artifacts and enchantments is...
It just seemed a little too good. I considered putting it in my personal cube. And I'm well, it's pretty good. The fact that it makes 2 times X pest tokens is kind of what puts it over the edge to me. I was Because if you hit
Right.
2 artifacts, you're making 4 tokens. Like, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, they're 1/1s with like a semi-relevant ability. So yeah, here he goes.
Yeah,
Oh no, he didn't say you draw. He said me draw.
he did say Midra. My lights just flickered here. So, I don't know what that means for this connection.
Mm,
Oh, but you're still here, so that's positive.
yeah. He didn't get a ton off that
No,
analysis.
it's a mill.
But like,
Matt's really taking the slow way.
yeah, he can still do the deep analysis. He can do the draw, the flashback.
Yeah.
Like what he plays Ornithopter here.
Yeah, but then he loses his didn't say please, which I think mills more, you know? So.
Oh yeah, he does. I didn't realize that.
Matt's only at 10. But I don't know. That doesn't feel that significant. Does Barber's Bike have the Thopter? I'm assuming it does. It looks like he's treating
No, it blocked.
It blocked. Okay, so that's just an... Okay.
That's just the equipment, yeah. So he only has 2 blockers.
Okay. So maybe it would have been correct for Matt to use the deep analysis, because Taylor could just not play any more cards. Taylor didn't play Honda of Life's Web. That seems like he's putting him on didn't say please. And he has seen it both games, right? So I think
Right.
Taylor's being smart about this.
What did you pay mana for last turn? Just to equip the Witch Stalker?
Maybe
did
he also sack
Have
something
so much.
to the Skullport merchant. I don't know.
Maybe a token?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe he sacked the treasure.
You know what I think he did? You know what he did? He put the giant skewer on the Skullport merchant to crew the renegade freighter, and then he moved it onto the fierce witchstalker. It's the tech butt. I think so. Right? It's 3 to equip. Maybe he didn't do that. It doesn't look like that. I don't know.
I think he either did that or he did.
You know what he did? This is what he did.
Sacked the treasure to Skullport.
Yes, he sacked the food. Or I think this would be a treasure though.
Probably a food, yeah.
But he can't sack the food. It makes it.
If he got a fierce witch stalker, then it was the food. But he might have blocked fierce. No, yeah, fierce witch stalker is trample. Yeah. So he made a food, sacked food. We just weren't paying attention, and also could have scrolled up at any point.
Oh, okay.
But this is interesting. I don't really know what's taking so long, besides it being Matt playing Magic.
Matt cast a ponder suddenly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Taylor has a lot of damage this next turn.
Yeah, I kind of am favoring Taylor here. I think, especially with what we just talked about. What I just theoretically talked about.
What does he do? Does he draw, play nothing, swing?
If he plays nothing,
right?
I think that's actually the best thing for him, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is like he's probably playing around and say please at this point.
I think what Taylor needs to do, or in my opinion, we have perfect information, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's always easier.
I think giant skewer on the merchant, crew the freighter, and then move the skewer either back to the witchstalker. I guess back to the witchstalker. Right, and just swing.
Yeah, that's what he looks like he's doing. Or no, this is still Matt's turn. God, this is taking so long.
I guess Matt's just thinking,
how can I get those 5 cards?
I think Matt's literally like, do I crack the clue? Do I play the ornithopter? How do I make Taylor mill out fastest? I do think the low key maybe Matt doesn't realize that deep analysis targets player.
It's possible. That's still only 3 cards.
It's only 3, but I don't know. Oh, also, Deep Analysis does cost 3 life, though, to flash back. Keep in mind, that is a real cost at this point.
It's true. But not if it wins you the game.
No. Alright, he's going with the Ornithopter. He said, I'm going to mill 1 more here. Shields
And gain 2 more. If he gains 2 life, he gets another blocker.
That's true. He just gonna... Yeah, that does help.
But I mean, Taylor still... No, he doesn't quite have... So here's the thing. Taylor now doesn't have lethal on Trample, right?
Matt also gets another mill from the Floodhound. That's another thing. Making the clue adds a permanent. It's a tough one. Matt did decide, though, that the counterspell and the 3 mil...
He would still have lethal on Trample. I forgot that the Freighter has Trample.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks good for Taylor.
You think so? I mean, there's still... Matt only has 3 blockers.
Yeah, if he plays it right, if he puts the skewer on Merchant to crew the Freighter...
Yeah.
And then puts it back on something else with Trample, which he definitely will... He'll have 19 in Trample, plus the 4 that Matt has to chump.
Isn't it? It's not 19, though. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot. Freighter has Trample. You're right. You're absolutely right. Isn't it? I'm only counting 18, though, in Trample. 6 from the Witchstalker.
14 plus 5 is 19.
Freighter
gets +1/+1 too.
Oh, you're right.
Attacks.
You're right. Wow, 19. So, alright.
So Matt then has to chump the Roshin Reander guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then put the Ox in front of
the Trampler.
The Jelly.
Yeah.
Right? So Matt, I think Matt still lives. Because Matt has
still
8 in blockers.
Yeah. And then can he mill Taylor the 3? Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Deep Analysis.
If he casts Deep Analysis, yes. Well, he won't be able to cast Deep Analysis, actually.
That's the thing, right? Lock him off that. And then...
But I don't know. He has a land guaranteed. And then he just needs to get 1 more playable.
He gets a land guaranteed, and then he's... Oh, yeah. And then he's going to play the... he's going to make a clue with the Floodhound. So, I guess if Matt gets another land or another instant, Taylor might still be alive. If, all of this goes well. I would say.
I don't know that Taylor gets another.
Okay. I don't know why that...
Okay.
Why would you do that? I guess now you can crew the Freighter.
He's doing it to crew the Freighter, yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I guess that's more mana efficient to crew the Freighter, right? Than what we were suggesting. And it has a bigger board presence.
It is, yeah. I mean, that doesn't...
Yeah, Taylor made the right move there. You still swing out, and then you hope you get another turn. At this point. You probably play the squirrel, just to play it. Or...
No, you don't. You don't play the squirrel.
Why not?
Oh, I guess Matt doesn't have the counter.
You're right. The counter's down. You play the squirrel.
I mean, it'll also be interesting to see how Matt blocks here.
Yeah.
Although he must know how much. God. I feel like if Skewer had been printed even 1 year later, it would give Menace.
Yeah.
When they we're like, we really need to make equipment better.
Yeah. They did pump everything else on that set, though, so I'm kind of...
I know, that set was busted, but...
Alrighty. The thing is, okay, even with the clue puts Taylor at 2 cards. The land puts Taylor at 1 card. Matt still will need to get 1 more permanent. No, actually he doesn't, because then if Floodhound survives, but Floodhound's not going to survive.
Floodhound's dying right now, so he's going to mill 1 right now.
But Matt can actually...
No, he can't. He can't make the clue.
Yeah, he can. Isn't it 2 to investigate? 3. Oh shit! Never mind. I took it back.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
So Matt, how much is Matt taking right now? He's taking 6. He's blocking that completely. So he's taking 6, 13, 14, which is lethal. He can't block like this.
Oh. Does he need to put right? No. Oh, he needs
No,
to.
because he has to block Rashid Meander. That's the problem.
Yeah, he has to block the meander. So he has 8 to take away from that. What is that? 15, you said? Or no, it's 19. Trample.
Maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe we thought he had it and he doesn't.
19 minus 8 is 11. Isn't he still alive here?
Yeah, he must be, because that's how that math works. I must have miscounted something.
19 minus 8 is 11 plus 1. I think Matt goes to 1. Matt loses all his things, he goes to 1. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
All right. If Matt gets like 2 permanents, and then Taylor just can't play another spell next turn, which I think Taylor's playing around that pretty clearly. Taylor's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Who knows? This is crazy.
Crack the clue. Oh. Oh.
Oh my god, he didn't get it.
Oh! That's the game. That's the game. Right? That has to be it. 2 lands in a row. Holy shit. This was a good one.
He can't even play. He can't even counter his own spells. He needed another spell.
I'm going to be really pissed if this recording didn't happen. I'm like 90% sure, but I'm like afraid to check and accidentally stop it if it is.
Yeah, exactly. Don't stop it now if it is.
Oh, this is a good game.
This is crazy. This is the upset underdog story of the
I love
century.
it. You know what? Because we were talking big game about how busted this artifact deck is, and like, I don't know. Like, also good cards are good. Taylor has proven that. Taylor's taken 4 mana 4/4s.
I mean, Taylor's deck is mean. Like his board presence gets out of control so fast.
Also, this ochre jelly also really. Before that, we had in like Ivy Elemental, which is just green X. Make a big XX.
Yeah.
Ochre jelly though, it's like when it dies, it's still a problem. Also, Ivy. I don't think Ivy Elemental has trample. I think the trample is really the most important thing on this ochre jelly.
I thought Ivy Elemental did have trample.
Does it? I
don't remember. I thought it did.
I have to consult Gatherer here. Nope.
We love it.
Nope. Let's see. I mean, if Ivy Elemental does a trample, then it's kind of comparable. Nope, it just has counters on it. It just it's as big and stupid. Very different. Yeah. Ochre Jelly was one of those last minute subs, and I was like, this is kind of funny, and it's better.
Oh, wow, wait, Matt scooped. He's showing his hand.
Oh. Damn. That was a close one.
I was gonna say, should we join up? But we should let them.
Yeah, let them
hash it out.
Wow, what a game! Also,
that was an amazing
Mother
finale.
Bear.
Like those last 2 turns were we planned out.
Oh
like,
yeah.
2 turns in advance, and I'm sure they were doing the same thing.
Also, I thought Floodhound was much better with I thought it was 2 in Investigate. No, 3 in Investigate makes more sense. It's more reasonable.
Yeah.
For what it does.
For sure.
Wow. So maybe you know what? Matt couldn't have held up the didn't say plays. It wouldn't have mattered, right?
Yeah, because Taylor. No, it would have because Taylor cast the squirrel, but he definitely wouldn't have cast the squirrel if Matt didn't say please mana.
The squirrel doesn't do anything there, and the Mother Bear is an ability. So, and even if he couldn't Mother Bear, he could have used. He could have re-equipped the Giant's Skewer like we suggested. So, yeah, I mean, also, Taylor kind of lucked out that Matt didn't draw some other, but like also Matt would have needed some more card draw there. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Also, maybe Matt should have used the draw 2 on Taylor earlier. Maybe that was some way you could hedge this, right? What do you think? Deep analysis on Taylor? I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying, yeah.
I mean, technically, like 2 cards plus the alter trigger is what Matt lost by. Like,
yeah. I mean, and also, I guess what were the last 2 playable cards that Matt put in? Probably the last really good one was the Barb Spike. Did Matt have Torment of Hailfire? Holy shit. How was he going to cast that also?
I was going to cast what?
Torment of Hailfire.
Torment?
Oh, I guess off the Crumbling Necro
Necropolis
and the Prophetic Prism. Torment of Hailfire, I feel like all-star of this retreat also. Not in these games, but
No.
definitely Matt killed me with it. Also, for this multiplayer cube, I am also looking at maybe using that. Because that's also just mean in multiplayer.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Really good games. Really solid match.
Yeah, that was crazy. They need to come talk to us.
Yeah, I wanna unpack this. Do we have any good questions for them? Like, what do you... I guess we could ask Tiller about game 2, about not swinging more aggressively.
Yeah.
I think that was the only main thing.
And then we should ask Matt if he knows that he could have targeted Taylor with.
I feel like he did, but we should also ask that. Like, does he think that would have changed anything? Does he, I think that's a fair question too.
Let's hop in.
Okay. Yeah.
Did they join us?
Oh, they all came in here.
All right. Are you ready for a deep dive? Post game?
Yeah.
Ready for a deep anal assist. I mean, just I was just going to say this, Matt, for you not showing any removal, I was just like, keeping that slow hand, I was like, how can a turn 5 like 8/8 not be good here?
Yeah. And it was.
Just my opener was just the broaching and that, and I was like, I think you got it.
I did board in the new control magic card from Midnight Hunt, the Grafted Identity, which I'm now seeing was on the bottom of my library.
Ooh,
but that was the one piece of removal I had, and Tezzeret too.
Well, yeah, that's true. No, the Tezzeret, but Tezzeret unlikely to kill the 8/8. Basically.
Yeah. No, the 8/8 was very hard to deal with.
Yeah, you're lucky you didn't see I had games like this against Robert, but then I would play Urbo out to the Trump, the Jelly with the Roshin, and then play the Primal Might.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
following
brutal.
turn. Those are the slightly nuttier versions, but I definitely can't complain about that one too bad. You built some good stuff, but...
Yeah.
All right, lay it on us. And
yeah, what were our mistakes?
I think the match was really tight. Honestly, you guys did really well. The decks were really competitive, and honestly, I think Stack and we thought Matt had that last one. We were pretty. It petered out a little bit, but it was tight.
Can I ask if the commentary crew noticed the not playing the squirrel into the didn't say please?
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
because that was just a game, and we were realizing
that was the game. Yeah, we were just talking about
the whole match.
We had some.
You go from kicking yourself because the opponent's at 1 to
yeah.
to feeling like a genius.
We had some follow-up questions. Stack, do you wanna ask any of them, or should I ask them?
Jesus Christ! Fucking exhausted here.
Okay, I don't know where Stack went. But we had a question for each of you. So, all right, well, it's fresher in the mind. Matt, did you you take a good look at deep analysis? Were you thinking of targeting Taylor with that ever? And do you think that would have been, a benefit, or did you consider that one?
I had considered it. I definitely had considered it.
You're back,
Oh
Zach.
my god! I thought y'all were just being completely rude to me.
Oh no!
Until Henry said, "We can't hear." I was like, "I'm trying to get a word in edgewise. Why is everyone talking over me?" No, it's okay.
I definitely considered giving Taylor deep anal. It wouldn't be the first time, but
nice.
But I think that there were just too many live draws in that last, because it was that last turn. Really.
Yeah. Right. So we
I had 3 cards in library, so the way it played out, it would have done nothing, right?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
that's what we were saying at the end. It's like
Matt
ended on 1 life, but he also had 3 cards. Like the deep analysis, like if he had cast, it was the kind of thing of or a similar thing of what you were saying about the squirrel, where we were like, the difference at the end of the game would have been casting deep analysis on Taylor.
Yeah,
like
because
deep analysis would have been 3 cards.
Well, 2 cards from deep analysis.
No,
2.
With Alter, though.
But did Matt didn't mill you for the final land drop?
Alter needs a permanent enter.
Oh, you're right. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not a spell
cast.
cast.
It's not a spell.
Exactly.
Right. It's not a spell.
Yeah.
And Taylor was at 3 after I had played
your land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cast zone here, the swamp, Witch's Cauldron, you're kind of looking, but these 2 lands and a Witch's Cauldron, these 3 were in the library when the game ended.
Gotcha.
It would have done
Right.
exactly nothing. I would have drawn the last card and had another turn.
All right.
Right. Exactly.
So it definitely ended up exactly. Can't imagine.
I mean, it was tight. Like
that.
Yeah, that
it would have been. It would have been if it would have killed you.
Also,
what I was saying.
if I would have
looking at the board, like we don't have to recreate the board state. I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Also, if I would have deep analed Taylor, I wouldn't have drawn the Ornithopter of Paradise, and I would have died to that last combat from Taylor.
True.
Right.
Exactly.
We weren't saying
100.
We weren't saying to just cast it. We were saying, like, is there a way he can get it all together where the final 2 cards are a deep analysis?
Yes, of course.
I literally.
And is he aware of that line? Like,
yes, of cource. I do think I played everything I could have played. So everything that was like on my battlefield, but at the end of that game, like the only cards I had in hand were 3 lands and a counterspell. So there's no world where I would have gotten Taylor to 0 or survived the last combat from Taylor. It was
that would have been like 5 life lower too, because he would have had 2 less chump block, like toughness, and
4 life.
You would have paid 3 life and then blocked 2 less life. Oh yeah, but then you did gain life, so I guess I'm not.
Oh, but we're talking about flashing back deep anal.
Yeah, I'm saying had you taken that line, I don't think there's any way that's correct. I can't think of a way.
No, I think you played it right, but it was just
given you had so much info in your hand, and like you said, the top decks were. You probably had a lot of live top decks.
Yeah. I did. I mean, I was searching for that mnemonic wall, but super tight games. All 3. The first one was pretty sad. I feel like I had such a perfectly explosive start and then just flooded out miserably.
Yeah,
the first one, yeah, I'd say that makes sense.
With a 16 land deck.
Also,
you just had the altar, but you didn't have the other combo piece, kind of. Like, you didn't...
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't have, like, I just had so we could start with, like, a turn 2 or 3 reverse engineer, which is such a fun card.
Yeah, that was that game.
2 mana draw 3.
It was a turn 1 alter, and then a really fast engineer.
But yeah, I think Taylor. They were very, very close games. I think we both played.
They were
good.
crazy.
Yeah.
That last one, especially. I mean, Matt, you were in the driver's seat until you drew 2. Like, you needed to draw 2 lands.
I know.
Henry and I
not win. You mean?
Yeah. Henry and I were like discussing, the quality of the Cheerios deck. We're like, okay, well, we shouldn't be banning cards just because it's Rioed its first draft, and like up until literally you drew 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Ochre Jelly is on the cutting block.
9 out of 10, you were dead.
I mean, did you? I mean, you weren't like seeing my mouse like literally hover over the concede there. Like Matt said.
Yeah, Taylor literally said "good game" at the end of his last turn. I'm like, oh, it's not over yet. I need to draw.
You said
besides a land.
Because I thought I was taking you to 0 before my turn started. I was like, I think I have Exacxies, and then can't remember what changed. I probably just had done like 1 point of life different. Like I don't know. But yeah, for whatever reason, when I dropped you to 1, I thought the chances that you didn't have the ability to mill me 3 cards was just like, I don't know, 0. I was just like, there's no way. But no.
Right.
Glad I didn't scoop, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, now Ochre Jelly is the card being banned. Actually.
Yeah.
No.
Honestly, I'm looking at Roshin Meander with like side eyes of like, should it go?
I guess no.
Yeah.
Meander is way better than Ochre's play on rate.
Meander.
It's definitely the most insane. Yeah.
You forget it's a 4/4.
Meander is pretty obnoxious.
I forget if that was my number 1 pick. I think it was that the card. Do you remember, Henry? After the draft, I talked to you. I was just like, I was singing the praises of one of those cards. I think it was Roshin, where I was just like, the rate on this, the idea that it's a 4/4.
Yeah.
We were talking about that.
You were praising that card. I remember, and I was like, oh, I guess it is a 4/4. Like I never really looked at it.
I mean, you saw it that third game where like it actually, or maybe even the second. I mean, yeah, the body was
yeah.
It was like actually one of the biggest bodies still.
Also, early on in this game, we were like, oh, well, there goes the Primal Might. There goes. I was like, these are all in the blossoming, whatever the heck, the blossoming bog beast that can anthem. I was like, oh, well, there goes a lot of good win cons for Taylor. But then, he pulled it out.
I mean, I think that's literally the other card to me, the Henry effect. It's just like, I never think I'm reading that card right. It just has that X factor where you just don't think you could possibly be reading it correctly. They'll just like, oh, this is overrun on a body.
Yeah.
It's a 3/3 naturally, like whereas it should be like an 0/1. Like it's just
right.
Like, why does it gain you life? Why if I crack? It's not even overrun on a body. It's like if I crack a food and then swing, it's just like, okay, here, +5 to everything.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think this is something that Henry and I were talking about. Where we're like, we like that there are like, really quality cards in there, and we want that for the cube. Like, we don't want it to be shit cube,
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's definitely not shit cube.
Yeah, no, it's better than shit cube.
Well, it's a lot.
It's different.
Man, the freaking Mother Bear.
Mother Bear was.
I feel like I lost a couple. Yeah, I feel like I definitely lost that game partially to Mother Bear too.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess would I have just not? No, I guess not given your hand. Like, would I have just not cast a creature?
Stack and I.
Well, did you have any? The only thing you had to cast that turn that you didn't activate Mother Bear was the Ravenous Squirrel.
Yeah, I had the 5-mana green hunt and the squirrel.
Right, so the squirrel couldn't have crewed Freighter on its own, so you would have.
Stack and I.
Like I definitely think there was a world where if Mother Bear is not a card that exists in your graveyard, I would have not been at 1.
Um,
Per
Well,
chance.
Henry and I were discussing this, and that's not true.
yeah. So
And I think I know what Henry's going to say.
yeah, I've talked about this play extensively in the commentary. We were saying that before Taylor played the Mother Bear, which I think was absolutely correct. I was like, oh, you just put the giant skewer on the skull point merchant, you crew with it, and then you move the giant skewer over to something with trample. That also, I mean, you would get the same exact
To be
amount of
fair,
damage.
What Matt is saying is that is 1 point of damage.
Oh,
that is
yeah.
one less point.
Oh, you are actually right. Never mind. Take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah.
What difference are we saying that makes? Because he would have needed to then
But then you would still
4 points.
No, it doesn't matter. And the Mother Bear, I take it back. I didn't actually lose to Mother Bear, but it was just
very good card.
I'm just pointing out it was a very efficient card.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Even that it just got milked for free for Taylor.
The difference if you had been at 4 life and you could have cast analysis again,
Hmm.
you would have had to be
Yeah.
at 4 for the game to be different.
Yeah.
Yes. Stack, you want to ask Taylor the question we had for him?
He's in a combative mood, so kind of no.
Okay.
But I'll do it anyway.
What did I say?
You've been very defensive of things where we're just like, we're not saying it's not a critique of you. We're just commenting on the game.
I can't imagine I didn't miss a handful.
But this is a critique on you, or this is a question about. So it was more about the second game, because basically for the mid game of the second game, Henry and I kept saying like we wanted you to get in with the 1/1s, like the loss of 2 or 3 of them on a combat.
Mm-hmm.
We thought would have outweighed the life total at the end of the game, being probably 5 to 6 points lower.
There was definitely a turn where we looked at it and we were like, okay, like Matt's best blocks, like nothing trades with your 4/4s, and it's just like you would lose max 2 1/1s.
It was if Matt really wanted to like eat one of the 4/4s, he could have crewed the.
Yeah.
He had 2 blockers, and he could have crewed the plow with the ox.
Oh.
And traded with a 4/4.
Yeah, no, it was it was the trudge. You could have traded with the trudge. But I was like, the trudge you could get back long term, and it probably would be helpful for you to get the plow out of there. So, I guess my thinking was, if you traded, like, that's not so bad. And, like, you're pushing damage, and either way, with you went all in on the haunted plan. So you were going as wide as possible. I was like, okay, like, if you lose 2 separate, like, 2 of those 1/1s, you get 3 next turn. I don't know.
No, I can see where that could have been right. I would need to like look at each of the board states, which I know is what I always say. But like, no, you might be right. I mean, I guess on one hand, I tried not to be precious with them. I feel like in general as a player, I try to like use expendable bodies loosely. They also represented like a card each, though too. Each one of them was just a clue token as well.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
But I was probably thinking of like, if I drew the overrun creature or something like that, like. But that might have been right. But then I can't remember. Yeah, no, I could easily see that being right. I would not be surprised if.
And then our other.
I think at a certain point though, he could have eaten like 2 a turn for free. It was just hard when like he had 1/3s that weren't blocking. So like.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, if I'm swinging with 2 4/4s, like a 4/4 and a 4/2, he, like, doesn't block those at all. Like, if every turn I just let him eat 2 1/1s for free and get 1 damage, I don't know.
But even
like,
once...
he always had...
I was going to say, once you have the squirrel up, though, if whatever ones he blocks, those are the ones you sack. If you wanted to sack.
That's very true. I don't remember what I was doing with my mana.
I don't...
I think you were running pretty low on mana, but...
Yeah, I don't remember the board states, but...
Or you were tight on mana.
That was such a funny matchup, too. It's like the one time when I was just going off with the Hondentron, and it felt like I couldn't do it. Like, I remember being like, wow, cool, the blue shrine was the divination. Like, at a certain point, I was like, I have to stop activating this. That was probably not clear from you, too, because I wasn't, like,
using arrows or whatever, like annotating it. But at a certain point, I was just like, all right, never using this again. Like,
right?
Yeah, we talked.
No,
about
we
it.
knew because you were playing cards, and we talked about.
I bet you that had to have been right at least one turn. I just have to look at the tape probably.
Yeah, and then the second thing that we're less in agreement on, I think Henry, well, whatever, was the end of the game where we were like, Henry said that and said correctly that like there's a line where you just draw your deck, right? You just say, okay, I don't get a next turn. Let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can pull this out. And I was kind of pulling for that, but it's the kind of thing of like I could really see it going either way. That's less of a like we were in agreement on that.
Yeah, I was actually going to say
Taylor definitely considered that.
I'm just saying this because you accused me of being defensive, so now I have to I have to pretend to not be. No, what I was going to say was I'm not sure whose side I'm on in that argument because I saw it both ways, and I remember being like, what could Matt, like, I don't know why I kept thinking of every permutation of, like, Matt plays a raise the alarm that mills me too. I was just
right.
What, like, goofy thing could he do to make a couple permanents by surprise? Like, I knew he had the one from the dog, but I was like, yeah, I think you know what it was at a certain point, and this is one of those things where, like, if you're at a slightly higher level of play, which sounds goofy because we were taking our sweet time and playing, like, a 4-hour match, but, like, I would have known for certain what my deck was at that point.
Exactly.
During that game, I like knew with like 80% certainty what it was. I was like, I know there's like a curious pair. I know there's like a land.
Right.
And it ended up being like literally nothing in my deck left. But
oh, okay. I think because if it was that overrun creature, that's kind of where we were at. Of like, we were like, yeah, Matt's gaining so much life, but then we were like, if Taylor had an overrun, he would be in such a good position. Like he would win.
Yeah.
And then,
that wouldn't.
And then that third game when the thing got milled early on, Henry was like, "Yeah, that's what he needed."
a couple things on that. It was already milled that game too, and also if you're talking about the literal last turn of the game, it wouldn't have done anything. Like I didn't have. If I had like a fire CVI or something. Yeah.
You would have needed a clue to do it at that last turn.
But you just couldn't have given it haste, though. Like, what would it have done?
Oh, does it have to attack to overrun? Or, I thought it was just, like, when you gain life. I thought it was, like, on combat, gain life.
Oh, you know what? Is it?
I don't know.
I mean, either way, it was literally in the graveyard, for sure.
Right, that...
Yes, it's upon its attack.
Yeah, it's when it attacks. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I thought I was crazy.
No, you're right.
But I definitely see the argument. There was also just, like, sideboard stuff. Like, I boarded out almost all my removal that game, too, and then brought some back in. I think I didn't realize how great Flesh Allergy was, especially because I was, like, picturing that last turn where I was just like, oh, if I just play a Flesh Allergy and, you know, just use that as, like, a Lava Axe, basically. But,
right.
I don't know why I'm admitting this, but, Matt, you were talking about how you didn't even like put all your sideboard cards in your sideboard on Goldfish or on Cockatrice or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what card I had in mind that wasn't in my colors that I could have boarded in?
What?
Think of the perfect card I could have in my sideboard.
Some type of artifact hate. No, it's a shuffle. The shuffle your graveyard.
Yeah. I literally have a Clear the Mind in my pile.
Oh.
I literally have. At some point during Game 3, it dawned on me, and I want some sort of prize. Well, 2 prizes. One prize for being the dumbest person on Earth,
and then one for 3.
Well, one for not letting that like take me out of the game. Like I played enough of an okay game from that point on. But it's like imagine turn 2 being like, oh, I have a Clear the Mind in my head, and they're just like playing a game after that. You know, you have to acknowledge that you're the dumbest motherfucker on the face of the earth, and then keep playing. Be like, oh, let me not like throw the match.
Oh my god,
but really no, it was
right. But you only cast that off of Spellport. Like, how much other treasure?
I have 3 ways. I have the 3-mana Honden.
The Honden.
The Honden is good, and the
gold's
in
your hand at the end of the game.
Gold Pick and the Merchant.
So I had.
It's definitely something worth boarding in, even if you only have 3 sources to cast it.
I kept telling myself you would have milled it either way. I'm like, I was probably like 2 out of 3 chance he would have milled it. Like, I was like, I am so. It was a very awful feeling in the pit of my stomach, knowing that was just sitting there, and like, not even like realizing it game 2, but realizing it game 3. You know, right? There was something else I was gonna say, but what a fucked up match. Just the match where like all your card draw gets negated. Where you're like, the good part about my deck is that I do an engine that lets me draw my deck at will, and that's
Oops, can't do that. It's so funny that I kept drawing Alter too, because I feel like most of my wins in round 1 and round 2 were from Reservoir. They were from Reservoir shots.
Really?
Oh, for 50?
But I think your deck was definitely the most beefy and aggressive I played in all 3 rounds, and I think I just didn't have the time for that. I like game 2 was just lucky enough to draw the Alter, in a pivotal place, and also game 3, even though it just barely missed the cut. But against Nick and Cosme, I just was 50 shotting him.
Wow, that's sick.
That are just like generating a ton of mana and doing like a giant torment, which also ironically would be terrible against you with all the little tokens you generate. So.
Oh, that's funny. You had a torment? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I beat like game 3 against Nick, and both game 1 and 2 against Cosme. But anyway, I got to run, but those are really, really good games, Taylor. Congratulations. And Henry and Stack.
Good work, Taylor.
Wonderfully done. Thank you so much. Wonderfully done. Great cube. I love my deck. Super fun.
Awesome cube.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean that final game of the finals was
insane.
So good.
Yeah. Very satisfying game. Not one you can really feel bad about. Yeah. All right. I got a jet, but
see you, Matt.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
See you, Matt.
Let's get a cock draft going sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
All right. Adios.
So yeah, Taylor, I gotta go too, but 2 things I said to Henry that I want your feedback on.
Sure.
One is I want to do this as the next in-person East Coast draft. To actually get another fairer shot at Look at Me.
For sure.
And I want to get that going pretty soon. And then the other thing is, in terms of what I was kind of saying, and this was in like game 2 into game 3, I was like, if we are looking at like this Cheerios deck being a problem, and like, is the problem that Matt has Altered Brood and Aether Flux in play? And so basically he gets to do one thing, which is, play little dorky cards, but get 2 avenues to win the game out of it.
Yeah.
And so we were saying, like, is that a way to nerf it? I think we're definitely going to work on the paradoxical outcome mnemonic wall. Like, I think we're cutting the mnemonic wall.
All right.
Actually,
so that it doesn't infinite loop.
I was thinking about that being my first suggestion, although I didn't see it go off.
No.
My first one.
But yeah, I know that in other games, if Matt got to 9 mana, that's how he locked out the game. It's just looping it and getting the like Aether Flux paying off.
I guess one big note, if I can give like one main one, is just like, if you're gonna have outcome in your cube, which is totally fine, you just really need to make sure that it's like reasonable. And that sort of means like nerfing the things that break it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. I think like cutting one of those things, I think it could be funny if like the only way the Paradoxical Outcome deck is gonna win most of the time is Altered. Like it is just a mill deck. Like and then the life gain kind of we take that out.
Yeah. Remind me again, what size is this cube? Did we draft every single card or not?
We did not.
We did because we drafted, but...
Oh, we just slightly didn't actually, though. Because we had 11.
Right.
It's made for 12.
You're
it's
right.
a 540.
I guess part of my thought is also that. I guess if you're not making...
That's true. That is kind of a nerf.
So
it's just like, what are the chances you don't open the thing, you know? It's like...
The other thing is, I don't know. And this is why I'm so reluctant to cut just yet, even though, like, I mean, like, if someone 3-0s with us again, or, like, I guess they didn't 3-0 with it this time, but it was close.
I'm not going to get credit for this.
If someone beats Taylor again...
I don't get any credit for this. That's fine.
I'm just going to say, I think, in my opinion, as we play this more, I think, one, there's a consistency thing that, you know, potentially, I think Matt got the perfect storm, literally. But I think also, like, what Taylor was saying about, like, clear the mind, I think Taylor also, I cut you on a lot of artifact and enchantment removal. And there is a clear the mind with a fog in green. And I think the more we play this, the more we might see how to, like, draft good sideboard cards that hedge against things. And I don't know. I'm interested to see how it evolves as we draft this more. That's all. And I'm not saying, you know,
sorry, keep going.
I'm not saying that would necessarily, like, keep this deck in check if it is a problem. But I don't know. I'm interested to see a little bit more before we cut per se, but I'm also, you know, happy with whatever, you know, our group decides is, you know, if everyone thinks Mnemonic Wall or whatever needs a ban, or like Mother Bear needs a ban.
I think Mnemonic Wall
needs a ban.
Mother Bear OP, too good.
I mean, so that's kind of where I'm at, but I'm also curious to hear what you think, Taylor, and on your thoughts on your own deck and just the cube in general, but yeah.
A couple quick notes. I remember, like, feeling like it was a weird draft, but I think in hindsight it was because you were in... Were you in literally my colors, Henry? Or
I was in literally your exact same colors.
Yeah.
But
it's so fucking weird. I think I was gonna say, like, my deck has a lot of weak spots. I think going into this, like, remembering slightly hearing what Matt's deck was, like, oh, it's a Cheerios combo deck. I need to just, like, pedal to the metal, and being like, oh, let me look at my deck again. I can't win because I just don't have the creature curve. And it made me think of back to the draft, how I was like, why am I just not getting creatures in these colors? Like, But another thing is this, like, it's also looking at the, like, whatever, 45 cards and being like, how do I not have a single, you know, like, Reclamation Sage, like, Disenchant, like, it was pretty wild that I couldn't board that in. So on one level, I'm like, I didn't need to clear the mind if I even just had a single motherfucking, like, Disenchant, you know, I just needed to naturalize.
Right, which there are a healthy amount of.
Yeah.
I should have, okay, yeah, so that's partly my question. I really should have sent this to y'all during the, before or during the games. I think at one point I was going to send it, but then was worried Matt was going to look at it. But I did put my deck list in the thing. But I literally don't think I have a single naturalize effect floating in the, you know, in the sideboard at all. But, you know, I probably, like, passed some just because I needed, like, oh, I don't have any 3-drop. You know, like, it was a very weird draft. And partly that was because I was in whatever the opposite of the open lane is. I was in the exact wrong seat.
You're in the fight for your life.
I mean, yeah, it was
very
pulled it out. I also think it's interesting because, like, I felt like my deck.
Well, no, Matt 3-0'd, so I didn't actually. Correction.
Matt
3-0'd up until the last turn of the last game.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like my deck was still functional, and you're just similar, but, like, you know, your deck, we've played against each other. I think yours was clearly the better of the two. So maybe I was more in the wrong lane, and I was just cutting you for no good reason, you know?
I could see, like, where I could be more synergy. You know, like, I have life gain synergies, like Brackish Trudge and the Overrun creature, but, like, I'm not hard. Like, there was that weird pack where it had... What was in the pack?
Right, but you're also... The green black is also food color, so you get that life gain incidentally. Like, that's kind of the idea there.
Here's another weird. When I was saying how weird the packs were, like my memory of that draft was bizarre because I remember seeing a pack with the Witch from Eldraine where you sack food to give a creature -3/-3. And
yes.
I think it just happened to be in a pack with, I want to say Fierce Witch Stalker, but I could be wrong. Do you remember that pack, Henry?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I might have taken the Bognoni.
Maybe I was passing to you, or I don't remember.
Yeah, that sounds familiar though. Yeah, there was a lot of like our same colors heavily in packs. It was also an 11-man, so
yeah, that's true too.
Awkward on that too, but
another complicating factor before I forget to mention this, just because I did take pack 3, pick like 11 or 13. Now, honestly, it was extreme. I think it was literally like 2 cards in the pack or 3 cards. I took a rebuild away from Matt.
Oh.
So
that's what Henry was saying.
that, yeah, Matt should have had a rebuild or could have had a, so think about what the deck would have been like with 2 copies of, I guess it is a way nerfed version of it.
Yeah.
So what's it? It's the same card, just he doesn't draw 5 cards.
Yeah, he doesn't draw. It's just a bounce.
It's outcome without the draw. Because every time Matt cast it, he was like, draw 6?
Yeah.
Right, but like that's that. Like we want that feeling still. I think it's just that like if we get rid of one of the win con avenues and the ability to do that, like what I like in our cube, and I think the way it's supposed to be is like you have one turn to do it. Like you have to paradoxical. You get to paradoxical once, so you have to make the most of it. Is kind of the idea, and the Monic Wall breaks that.
Yeah,
and makes it too consistent.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. I agree with that completely. Yeah, because I remember thinking when I had all that time just watching Matt go off, being like, well, like the way he gains life off of the reservoir, it is such that he has to kind of like in one turn cast 6 spells. He can't pace it out. So I guess that is some level of difficulty built in. But
I guess I have a question. If Matt had another way to rebuy the spell, but it wasn't a creature that he could... Like, if we replaced a Mnemonic Wall with a spell that just bought back...
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. I
think
like,
that's...
If he had to
I
use,
would be okay
like,
with
the,
that.
The split card from Amonkhet, like, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess that
you're saying
you're
saying there should just be a recover in the cube, but not something he can loop in.
Yeah,
well, you can splash for green and already do that, right? Like, aren't there green recover cards?
I think there's a blue one too, actually. That's like an Archaeomancer, but it's a blue instant or something like that.
Well, it can't be on a creature, right? Is that part of our?
Yeah, no, it's not on a creature. Like the other one,
Okay.
I think it's like Say Never or something like that, or say something like that. I think it's not on a creature. In that, I'm okay with. I think if you want to use your spell to buy back your other spell, I can see how Mnemonic Wall is abusable in the way that you just bounce it and get it back, and it's absurd that way.
It's one of those feel bads too. Just in some ways I'm in a really bad position to comment because I didn't ever see the loop or like I lost to very different ways of his deck playing out.
You lost to different avenues.
Yeah, very weird avenues that I feel like.
I just also think it would be. It's like it seemed like it was pretty miserable to play against him in paper, which I don't think is even like. I know Matt can play.
But you're saying more than
very methodical. Yeah, I think that like Reservoir specifically is pretty dirtily.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that we should cut Reservoir. I think we should definitely start with cutting the Mnemonic Wall, and that's kind of where I'm at now. I think I want to see it again, kind of thing, Yeah. And that's what Henry was saying, which I agree with.
I feel like Matt is the person also because think about something like Shikyu. Like the only thing he does
right
Shikyu is he hones in on the one breakable, abusable.
Exactly.
So it's good because in some ways he's there to be.
He's stress testing
cool mind. Yeah, exactly. He's stress testing the like one deck that you should think about cutting.
Yeah.
So
I can get by
because we're gonna draft this again without him though. So it'll be like.
Well, and that's the other thing I was saying to Henry is that like these cards could also there is another Storm deck. In the cube, and like if that deck would probably also want an altar and an Aether Word. So like if what I was saying to Henry is like, is it just that he got past those or was able to probably wield those because so few other decks care about Aetherflux Reservoir and nobody was in green red trying. Clearly, I remember that draft. Like green red was flowing. It's a confusing deck. Like if you need to know like what you need in a way that you don't need to know in
the other thing
paradoxical version.
I will say is I do feel like, and I talked to Stag about this during the commentary. I do think that blue to me felt a little underdrafted during the draft. Also, like Mnemonic Wall is good in a number of decks, and same with Deep Analysis.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
So I don't know. That's another thing. I think Matt could have been cut more potentially. Obviously,
that
like
sounds familiar. I feel like I saw a really late Deep Analysis, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
Sounds familiar.
I'm trying to remember.
It sounds familiar. Because I remember I wasn't set in my colors. I was thinking about splashing, or was not set in my colors or something.
All right.
I really got to bounce, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna also call it a night.
Great games.
Yeah.
Great chatting.
Sorry I couldn't get there, but what a
yeah, you were so close.
I was very close. Some could.
Some would even say you won.
Some would.
I won in the same way Joe Biden won the election.
Exactly.
So,
all right.
I'm going to show up at your house next January 6th.
Congratulations, Taylor. I guess you can be the first person to sign the box next time we get together. And then I guess you can write Ian or whoever got the Gotti by not playing. So whoever we
technically Ian. Ian dropped in deck building.
So Ian got the guy. If you ask me, or Taylor, if you would take us away with the... You ask me, that's a Gotti.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or not.
Me? Who had me? That's a Gotti.
That's a Gotti.
That's a Gotti.